Greetings and welcome to the Astronomy Picture of the Day podcast. Today's picture for November 29th of 2025 is titled Moon Games. So, what do we see here? Well, here we see an image off to the left of our moon, just barely up over the horizon, and a very thin crescent moon. This is what is known as the waxing moon phase. Now, a waxing crescent, the waxing phases are when the moon is getting a little bit bigger each day. So a little bit more of the moon will be illuminated every single day. This is about 3 days after new moon. So the moon actually progresses relatively fast through its phases. About 3 or 4 more days after this, it will be close to first quarter moon. And we can tell that it's the waxing phase because it is the right-hand side of the moon that is illuminated. So after new moon, the right-hand side will be slightly illuminated, and you can sometimes pick it up as early as a day or even less after the time of new moon. And then each day, more and more of it will be illuminated as it works its way over the course of a couple of weeks from the crescent phase to the full moon phase in just those couple of weeks. Now, the moon goes through phases because of two things, and that is because half the moon is always illuminated by the sun, and half the moon is always visible from Earth. But those two don't always line up. So when we have a full moon phase, then we are seeing the fully illuminated portion of the moon. When we have the new moon phase, that fully illuminated portion still exists, but it's now pointing away from Earth, and we are seeing the unlit side of the moon, which is what we call new moon when it's in the same direction as the sun. In between that, we can see various parts of the moon illuminated from a crescent through a quarter phase, through a gibbous phase until it reaches full, and then going through the same phases in reverse. Those are what are called the waning phases, as it gets less and less each day. And as you see those, it would be the left-hand side of the moon that is illuminated when we look at the waning phases. Now, another thing is that the moon always keeps the same side pointing toward Earth. So you can notice that if you look at the moon through various phases, features remain in exactly the same spot. And there's half of the moon that we can always see, and another half that we never see. Now, that's approximation because there are some other things that go on with the moon with various motions that allow us to see maybe about 60% of the moon over time. So we can see a little bit more around the edges at one time or another, but typically there is a whole section of the moon that we knew nothing about until the late 1950s when the first spacecraft traveled around and took us those images of our closest neighbor. So that was our picture of the day for November 29th of 2025. It was titled Moon Games. We'll be back again tomorrow for the next picture, previewed to be Most Distant Landing. So we'll see what that is about tomorrow. And until then, have a great day, everyone, and I will see you in class.